Have you ever stopped to ponder why your brain doesn't just let you shuffle through life like some sort of shambling zombie, crashing into furniture, drooling on yourself, and groaning about needing more coffee? Because let's be honest, that could totally be a vibe some mornings. Consciousness, my friends, is the unsung hero keeping you from starring in your own personal horror movie, titled The Day I Forgot How to Human. If you're the kind of person who loves wrestling with life's big, juicy questions while chuckling at the absurdity of it all, then please do me a favor and smash that like button, hit subscribe, and join us for more mind-bending adventures on the Why We Question channel, where we'll keep unpacking these cosmic conundrums together in the episodes to come. Now, let's dive deep, really, ridiculously deep, into why consciousness isn't just a cool party trick your brain pulls off, but the very essence of what makes you, me, and that weird neighbor who talks to his plants into the fascinating, flawed, fantastic creatures we are. Picture this. You're strolling through a vibrant farmer's market on a crisp Saturday morning, the air buzzing with the chatter of vendors and the scent of fresh-baked bread wafting around you, when suddenly you pop a sun-ripened strawberry into your mouth. What happens next is pure magic, courtesy of consciousness. That little red fruit doesn't just hit your taste buds and call it a day. No, it explodes into a symphony of sweetness, a burst of summer encapsulated in one bite. And you actually notice it, feel it, revel in it. Consciousness is the backstage pass that lets you experience the world in Technicolor, transforming what could be a bland mechanical input, chew, swallow, repeat, into a moment you might remember years later when you're old and gray, sitting on a porch somewhere, telling your grandkids about the best strawberry you ever ate. Without it, you'd be chomping away like a mindless food processor, never pausing to appreciate the texture, the flavor, the sheer joy of it all. It's not just about keeping you alive, though it does a bang-up job of that, steering you clear of cliffs and questionable street tacos. It's about infusing every second with richness, depth, and a little bit of wonder. Now, let's take a leisurely stroll down the winding path of self-awareness, because if consciousness is the spark, self-awareness is the fireworks show on the 4th of July. It's that uncanny ability to step back from the chaos of your own existence and think, well, look at me, a living, breathing, slightly caffeinated human being, doing human things like misplacing my keys for the 3rd time today, and having opinions about whether socks should be folded or just stuffed in a drawer. That might sound like the most obvious thing in the world, but hang on, it's a superpower. It's why you can cringe at the memory of that time you tried to impress your crush with a terrible pun about carrots. "What's up, Doc?" And ended up sounding like a discount Bugs Bunny. It's why you can laugh at yourself when you trip over absolutely nothing in the middle of a crowded sidewalk, or feel a pang of pride when you finally nail that recipe you've been butchering for months. Self-awareness lets you reflect on yesterday, dream about tomorrow, and maybe even decide you want to be a slightly better version of yourself next week. Without it, you would be trapped in an eternal present. No past to learn from, no future to hope for. Just a blank, unthinking now, like a goldfish swimming in circles, blissfully unaware of its own goldfishness. And oh, let's not gloss over the dazzling marvel that is creativity, because consciousness is the fairy godmother waving her wand over the human mind, turning pumpkins into carriages and idle thoughts into masterpieces. Every symphony that's ever made you cry, every painting that stopped you dead in your tracks at a gallery, every invention that's changed the course of history, like the wheel or the internet, or those little plastic things that keep Your pizza box, from squashing the cheese, started with someone being conscious enough to imagine something wild, something that didn't yet exist. Take this video, for instance. It's not some happy accident that plopped into existence like a meteor crashing through your roof. No, someone sat down, sipped their coffee, probably too much of it, stared at a blank screen, and thought, "You know what? I'm going to write a ridiculously long ramble about consciousness and see if anyone sticks around to read it." That's consciousness flexing its creative muscles, birthing ideas from the ether and giving them shape, substance, a bit of sass. It's why we've got skyscrapers piercing the clouds, novels that keep us up past midnight, and viral dance. Trends that make us question our coordination, but try anyway. It's the beating heart of culture, the fuel for progress, and the reason we can't stop giggling at cat videos when we should be working. But wait, there's more. Consciousness isn't just about you and your inner world. It's the bridge that links us to everyone else wandering this spinning rock we call home. It's what lets you look at your best friend crying over a breakup and think, "Oof, I've been there, and I bet she's feeling like her heart's been run over by a truck right now." That flicker of empathy, that ability to climb into someone else's shoes, even if those shoes are metaphorical and slightly uncomfortable, is what keeps us from being a planet full of selfish loners, elbowing each other out of the way at the grocery store. It's the root of every late-night heart-to-heart. Every time you've teamed up with coworkers to pull off a project, every moment you've forgiven someone because you realized they're just as human as you are, complete, with their own quirks and fumbles. Sure, it also means we can bicker over trivial nonsense, like who gets dibs on the armrest during a 6-hour flight, or whether the toilet paper roll should go over or under. But it's also why we can build communities, fall in love, and create societies that, for all their flaws, keep chugging along. Without consciousness, we'd be like ants marching in silence, bumping into each other without a second thought, never truly seeing the other as a person with their own dreams, fears, and questionable taste in music. Some folks might argue that consciousness is just a fancy side effect of our ridiculously complex brains doing their neuron-firing thing, like steam rising from a pot of boiling water. Neat, but not the main event. I say that's selling it short by a country mile. Consciousness is the lens through which we grapple with the grand, messy, unanswerable questions that have haunted humanity since we first looked up at the stars. Why are we here, parked on this tiny blue dot in the vastness of space? What happens when we shuffle off this mortal coil? Do we get a cosmic encore? Or is it just lights out? And why, oh why, does coffee brewed by someone else always taste like liquid gold, while your own attempt tastes like regret and burnt beans? It's consciousness that lets us chase meaning, even when the universe doesn't come with a handy FAQ page or a customer service hotline. We might not always find the answers. Spoiler alert, we probably won't. But the fact that we can ask, that we can wonder, that we can sit around a campfire or a bar stool and debate it all, that's what keeps the human spirit humming, keeps us poking at the edges of the unknown, keeps us reaching for something bigger than ourselves. So, to wrap this sprawling, rambling ode to consciousness, though let's be real, I could keep going until we're all old and wrinkly. It's the golden ticket to the roller coaster of life. It's what lets us feel the sting of heartbreak and the rush of a first kiss. Think through whether we should call in sick to binge that new series, create art that moves people we'll never meet, connect with strangers who become family, and question why the heck we're all here in the first place. It's chaotic, it's confusing, it's glorious, and sometimes it trips over its own shoelaces because it's too busy daydreaming about what's for dinner. If this video has sparked even a tiny ember of curiosity in your wonderfully conscious mind, then stick around. Hit that like button, subscribe to the Why We Question channel, and let's keep this journey going together. I'll see you in the next one, assuming I don't get distracted by a strawberry or a cat video first.